Good morning, Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma. Welcome to Special Report for Monday, July the 27th, the last week of July before we hit August. So, I'm Chris Oldcorn, and I'm here with
Dani Dupuis, and thank you so much to KC Security for sponsoring the show. You guys do a great job out there, and we hope that it hasn't been too bad for you in this heat because it is hot. But as we were talking about before the show, our nice heat warning is kind of diminished, just lifted, and we'll have more on the weather when we go back to Dan. But how was your weekend, Chris?
My weekend was pretty good. I went to the beach on Saturday, so that was nice. And then obviously yesterday rained, so we didn't do that. But the rain did break up. We went for a walk downtown, so that was nice.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was good. It was nice to get out.
I know, it wasn't too bad.
Because it rained for so long last week, too. I didn't get much walking in or anything last week.
I know, it was a little bit of a hit or miss yesterday.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag, as Daniel, our weather guy, likes to say. Speaking of mixed bags, it's going to be a big bag this afternoon at the Doug Ford press conference. They're not bringing a full hockey team like they did on Friday, but they're getting close. Okay, so there's going to be 4 people there. Obviously, Doug Ford's going to be there. Christine Elliott, Deputy Premier and Minister of Health, will be there. Rod Phillips, Minister of Finance, will be there, and so is Stephen Clark, who's the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, as well as Karen Mulroney, who is the Minister of Transportation.
So some big names out there today. It's going to be
one more, then they could actually have a full hockey team with a goalie. Right now, they just got 5. So,
but remember, social distancing. Social distancing.
Yeah, social distancing. Yes, non-contact. You know, all that stuff about John Rhodes, where you can practice, but you can't really practice.
Exactly.
You can skate around with the puck, but that's about it.
But as we're going to go on, we do have some community news, and I don't know about you, but people around here, I think sometimes they forget how to drive or where to drive, and why I'm saying that. I finally got a chance to go down to Ernie's Cafe, had their amazing chicken burger, delicious, thank you so much, John. But as we were driving there was someone driving the opposite way on Queen Street. So, you know, the car to my left, him and I are looking at each other like, what's going on? Doesn't the car immediately stop, put his right hand signal on, but ended up doing a U-turn going left. And we finished lunch. There's kind of this breakaway between Church Street and Pym Street. They meet. There's a car coming down Church Street when that's one way. So that license plate, I do know for a fact, was from out of town. I'm not too sure where they were from. They were definitely not from Ontario, so kind of keep an eye out. And to everyone who does kind of come into Sault Ste. Marie, be very mindful. We do have a lot of one-way streets, so just kind of keep that in mind. And what are our numbers? Or with impaired driving, too, we have a little bit of a story there.
Speaking of someone driving, okay. It seems like every weekend we have at least one of these stories. So, surprise, man charged with impaired driving this weekend. 22-year-old Joseph McLean, he put his vehicle into the ditch on Airport Road, and then he decided to run away.
But funny story with that, he wasn't running away. It turns out he actually lived in the area. He was going to go get help, but it made it look like he was fleeing the scene.
Well,
so a little bit of a story on that one.
Yeah, well, he was, they're like, empty car in ditch, guy running. So they decided to talk to him. They found out that it was his vehicle, and they were suspicious that he was under the influence. So gave a breath sample on an approved device. I'm not sure why they have to say approved devices. They're unapproved ones they use. And it registered as a failed result. And so he will be in court September 21st of this year. And he has been charged with impaired driving, alcohol, and drugs with a blood concentration level of 80 plus. So
it just amazes me, all these young offenses right now, especially with impaired driving. Like, come on, guys, we should know better than this. We should.
Speaking of knowing better, my next story after yours is another one about knowing better.
That is very true, but my story is a little bit on the positive side.
Yes.
So ADSB, the Algoma District School Board, just got approval. They're going to be opening up a new school in Blind River. So this is actually coming to an announcement right after they made the announcement last week with additional funds for so many different facilities that the government wants to create kind of thing. So this is going to be a school in Blind River. It's going to be from JK to grade 12. So they're kind of going to be amalgamating everyone.
JK to 12 in one school?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, over here, you have to admit, like with Blind River, I feel like they have a bunch of different ages from everywhere, and there's not a lot of other schools around unless they wanted to
pretty isolated.
Unless they wanted to go to Deborah. But even recently, so the Sioux actually has super schools. We know Superior Heights, it's a 7-8 program, but still they're kind of increasing it a little bit more. But that's great news. They have haven't they don't know an idea of where they want to build the school, but it is in the works right now, which is exciting. And then what they want for this design, the design will include a child care center as well as an early Ontario child and family care center within the school. So working parents, there we go. Great job. We can't wait to see what it looks like.
All right.
And your story of...
speaking of young people. Okay, Theresa Tam last week, at the end of the week, warned the public that there's sort of a coronavirus fatigue happening now where people are just tired of it. They just want to go back to their regular lives.
They're like, enough.
And she warned that, in the last week, 60% of our cases in Canada came from people between the ages of 20 and 39. So, right after that warning that she gave on Friday, some people in Brampton decided to have a party. And they tried to disguise this party very well, but obviously the neighbors were like, there's a lot of people there that looks like there's more than 10, because that's Peel region where this is. And so, when they arrived, there was over 200 people in a house. They had done all kinds of things to try and make sure that they were not found out. So they had people drive the cars away elsewhere to park them in other parts of Brampton. They put up higher fences in the backyard, so it'd be harder for the neighbors to see in. How do you think you were gonna people were not gonna hear the noise of 200 people?
So this was obviously like pre-planned party.
This is very pre-planned.
Oh my gosh.
They parked cars.
They think they're better than the law. That's
The homeowner and party organizer had hired security to go park the cars elsewhere. They had security watching people that no one was taking any pictures or anything on their phone to be distributed on social media. And they also erected barriers in the backyard so people couldn't see in. They've been charged under the Emergency and Civil Protection Acts because the emergency orders are still in. So they violated, for example, in Peel, it's still in stage 2, so 10 people max. Plus, people weren't physically distancing between members of different households. Obviously, if you have a house party with 200 people, no one's social distancing.
No, not a chance.
So good job there, Brampton. Way to go along with all the stories we've been doing over on the Michigan side of people doing stupid things like this. So,
and congrats. You guys just saw our Niagara Falls bit that we did last week. Like, come on, that says all on its own how Canada's doing and how the US is doing. And if you haven't seen that, go back. We talked about it on Thursday, a little bit on Friday, and it really shows Canada's doing great.
Yeah, and
US is like,
Yeah, we showed that the Torch Lake party that happened July the 4th on that big sandbar on the lake.
There was also an influencer in the States who got under fire for hosting a party, and this influencer, when we talk about no social distancing, I mean videos portraying of people just up in each other's faces 24/7. It's
and these COVID parties that they have. And,
the person who wins it gets money. I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, and the guy that won it in that one in Texas ended up dying.
Yeah.
So, because he caught COVID and died. And he won $104. Way to go.
Oh, I know. But we do have some good news. The Kiwanis Club of Lakeshore and as well as Staples, they've partnered together to introduce the Start to Smart School Drive. So what it is you can actually donate towards this, and they're providing school boards in the area with pencils, writing supplies, papers, binders. So when you go into your local Staples store, they'll ask if you want to donate, and you can also go to www.staples.ca at Content School Supply Drive Breakfast Club, and then they're also using this hashtag called #KidsNeedKiwanis. So good on you. So if you are in Staples, just go ahead and donate.
And there was an interesting mask in Walmart. Not our Walmart, I should clarify.
Very clarify, please.
Over in Minnesota, and you're going to see a video coming up on your screen. This couple decided that their face masks would be swastikas. Now, the reasoning behind this, we're showing you the video, they are saying that if Joe Biden becomes president, America will become a Nazi nation or something. It's a little bit of an incoherent argument that they're making. But these two individuals, it was the first day masks were required in Minnesota that the governor, Tim Walz, put in. And they're basically protesting the mask thing that, they're going to be like, oh, if Biden gets in, this will be like our lives, everything will be dictated to us and will be no different than Nazi Germany. Obviously, Walmart had a problem with this, and so did the police. Walmart called the police. They've been given a no trespass notice for 1 year. In a year's time, Walmart can decide if they're going to allow them back or not. They did not get arrested though, because technically, somehow that's not a crime.
It's not?
Apparently not. Not in Minnesota, it isn't.
Huh.
So it's not. They were offered disposable face masks to take those ones off, and they said no. So they've been banned from all Walmart stores and Sam Clubs and so on. But we're going to go over to Daniel for a quick weather tease. What's going on there, bud?
Good morning. Thanks, Chris and Danny. And I just want to confirm, you said that security was hired for that party in Brampton?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, full disclosure for
Wasn't Casey?
Yeah, no, for my company, that would never happen. We would never engage in anything that would be breaking the law. Unfortunately, there are some companies out there that do that, so I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Apparently, the security company didn't hide the party well enough. So, yeah.
No, exactly. Yeah. So there you go. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the humidity on the weekend. As you can see on our live view behind me coming up on your screen, it is sponsored by wirelesscom.ca. Those clouds are clearing up. About an hour ago, it was pretty dark out, and now things are starting to clear out. We will see the sun return today, and you will get a break in that humidity. I'm going to have your details coming up after this break. I just want to remind everybody, if you want to catch up on any old shows of Special Report or any of our local content, you can subscribe to our YouTube page at Sioux Online. You can go to SiouxOnline.com and just go to the YouTube thing and click subscribe, and that'll get you all the content there for all our local shows. So just to remind everybody there, because I know a lot of people like to rewatch the shows. All right, I'll be right back after this break with your full 3-day and Northern Ontario regional temperatures right after this. Stay tuned.
Did you know that 1 in 3 people are affected by fire in their lifetime? Or that 1 in 3 fire deaths happen in homes with no working smoke alarms? You may have just seconds to safely escape a fire in your home. That's why early detection of fire is absolutely vital. Only working smoke alarms provide those precious seconds you and your family need to safely escape. Install smoke alarms on every story and outside all sleeping areas of your home. For added protection, install a smoke alarm in every bedroom. Test smoke alarms monthly by pressing the test button. If the alarm doesn't sound, install a new battery. Replace alarm batteries at least once a year and whenever the low battery warning chirps. And if the alarm still doesn't sound, replace the alarm with a new one. Smoke alarms have an expiry date. Remember to check the back of the smoke alarm for dates of manufacture. Replacement is within the time frame on the manufacturer's instructions. In most cases, 7 to 10 years. Always replace expired alarms. Remember, it's the law in Ontario to have working smoke alarms on every story of your home and outside all sleeping areas. Failure to comply with the Ontario Fire Code requirements could result in a fine or even jail time. So protect yourself and your loved ones by ensuring that all your smoke alarms are functional and up to code. For more fire safety information, please visit www.saultsaintmarie.ca/firesafe.
And welcome back to Special Report for Monday, July the 27th. We got a bunch of Facebook shout-outs. Good morning to Nicole. She's tuned in from Trinidad. She's actually waiting to come here for school. Good morning to Marilyn and Ineki, and Ineki also, and Rachel. And then Ineki also mentioned that in the Netherlands, it's absolutely forbidden to use a face mask with a swastika on it.
Thank you for letting us know. I would have thought
that would have been the case in Minnesota as well.
Well, globally.
I know it's definitely the case in Canada. We don't allow that. But yeah. It's good to know that the Netherlands, I'm pretty sure all of Europe is probably like kind of negative on the whole swastika thing. But yeah, apparently in Minnesota it's a choice, I guess. I don't know. They don't have a law against it, but the store can get someone for trespassing. I put a story up this weekend, basically my first 6 months here. It's called Treating Media Equally. Just to read one sentence from it. When politicians and organizations pick their favorite media, they're being dishonest with the public and should be ashamed of themselves. That's one of the nicer things I say about certain politicians and organizations in this region. And so you can read that at Sioux Online. And we're now going to go to Daniel for the weather. What's going on, bud?
Thank you very much, Chris and Danny, and good morning, everyone. Hope everybody enjoyed that humidity on the weekend. It was very, very, stick to you kind of weather, and it didn't subside overnight. And even into last night, that heat warning is going to end today, and we are going to see a return of seasonal coming up throughout the week. Okay, so on your radar here, as you can see, majority of that low is past that we had all this rain. Over the weekend, we actually had, let me double check, 33.7 millimeters of rain yesterday, so it was very, very wet. There was some downpours, and then the sun would come out. Now, there's high pressure that's coming back behind here. That's going to move in again, and we're going to see sun for quite a bit of the week. So that's what's going to be coming up. So I'm going to get into your details right now. So your expected highs for the region today are 27 in Thunder Bay, 23 in Wawa, 25 here in Sault Ste. Marie, a nice seasonal day, 29 in Elliott Lake, and 30 in Sudbury. Those two areas Elliott Lake, you aren't quite under it, but you're close. Sudbury, you are under a heat warning still. And Timmins will be 30 degrees as well. It'll be very hot up there. So your overnight lows expected are 17 overnight in Thunder Bay, 13 in Wawa, you're the cool spot, 16 here in Sault Ste. Marie, another comfortable night. It'd be a nice change from that 21 or 22 degrees you've seen over the last 2 nights. 17 in Elliott Lake and Sudbury, and as well as up in Timmins. Okay, so today your currently we're sitting at 21. The sun is coming out now. There's still a few clouds. We are going to get up to a high of 25 degrees with a humidex of 30. That's going to feel a lot cooler than it was over the last few days. The winds are going to pick up this afternoon. 23 kilometers to the northwest. It's going to bring in some cooler air. They're going to gust up to 44 kilometers an hour. So keep that in mind. And then overnight things will clear out and we will get down to a low of 16, so that humidity will go away for a little while. Looking into your 3-day now. So Tuesday we're going to see that seasonal temperature come back, 24 degrees, mainly sunny with a low of 16. That will continue on Wednesday as well, 23 degrees with a few clouds kicking around and a low of 15. And then Thursday, we're going to see a completely sunny day, high of 24 and a low of 16. So that's when the high pressure is kind of coming in. And these are seasonal days, but don't worry, there's going to be some more heat coming up later on in the week. So I'll have that coming up with your Weather Watcher in a little bit. I'm going to send it back over to Chris and Danny.
Thanks, Dan, for that weather update. It's good to know at least some of it's cooling off, but not really, because like you said, we're going to be into that heat. And before we go over to a commercial break, I had the chance to speak with Erin Lodge from Women in Crisis to do a little bit of a video on their upcoming fundraiser called Walk a Mile in Her Shoes. And here's a short clip of it.
Not going to be hosting this event the way that we have in the past. So we moved to a virtual platform for this event, which means we don't have the red high heel shoes to give to the men, and will not be walking as a large group. In past years, we've done a demonstration down at City Hall with men in our community who have stepped up, men and women, but the men were in the red high heel shoes. So this year we won't be doing that. So it does look a little different, but we are still hoping that the community will take this time to help us increase awareness in our community. So by doing it virtually, they still can register on our website. They can go to womenincrisis.ca. We have a Walk a Mile event right on the front page. They click it, it has all the information, and they can register that way. And what we're asking people to do, as you can see, I'm sporting this hoodie that says Walk a Mile in Her Shoes. And right at the top, it's our new hashtag for this year, which is Be a Light.
What's life without making a few mistakes down the road, a few sharp turns, and doing things for what we adore but might regret later? A trip to Chuck's Roadhouse isn't one of them. With melt-in-your-mouth AAA steaks, buttery lobster tail, half-priced apps after 9 p.m., an ice-cold draft with all your Roadhouse favorites. Chuck's Roadhouse. Food the way it ought to be, priced the way it used to.
A message from the Government of Canada.
In your home, lighting is just as important as style.
With PowerView Motorization from Hunter Douglas, you can schedule your shades to light up the room. Create privacy, or both, automatically. No hands required.
So your shades will always be in the right place at the right time in style. And it's only from Hunter Douglas.
And welcome back to Special Report for Monday, July the 27th. We are starting our last week here in July. Unfortunately, we're doing a little rain, and then we'll get in some warmer weather later in the week. So hopefully we'll be warm going into August. But speaking of stuff going on and kids going indoors and outdoors, getting the kids out of the house so they'll be going someplace. And there's more of them allowed in that someplace.
Yes.
What is that someplace?
That someplace is childcare centers. So as of today, childcare centers can go up to 15 kids in their designated little areas or little groups that they have. So they did just pass it a few weeks ago that, childcare centers were opened up again. They were able to only have 10 kids in for each group, depending on where they were. Now that number has increased to 15, but the government has said that this 15 does not mean it's a bunch of different mixed groups. It's that group runs the same kind of group of kids for 7 days. There's no mingling in between, there's no switching. And you actually have an interesting story too in regards to
we've
childcare
already seen
centers.
this happen in Quebec a little bit. There's been a few daycares where there have been outbreaks. But the first one here in Ontario is down actually in North York. It's actually a City of Toronto run daycare. And someone tested positive there. So they temporarily closed the child care center while it was being cleaned and sanitized. But all the kids there are now in isolation for 14 days. So they do have to be careful, with this, bringing an extra 5 kids from the 10 kids that they were allowed. This comes on also the news of 2 employees testing positive who worked for Parks and Rec connected to day camps in Toronto as well. Now, day camps, a lot of that is outdoors. Child centers are mainly indoors, but still, we are seeing these small little outbreaks here and there, connected daycare centers across Canada actually, and also day camps and so on. So we still got to be careful with the kids and everything. So hopefully as we go from 10 to 15, things won't flare up like you'll see.
People are taking the precautions.
There's been daycare centers in the States where like 20 kids out of 40 get COVID-19.
It's really interesting to see, and even just like hearing about the teachers on the Canadian side compared to our US friends, because the teachers there are, we're concerned if we go back to school, we're going to get COVID-19, whereas here people are like, okay, let's go back, let's get our kids back in school, how can we educate them?
Yeah, there's a protest Friday at Queen's Park. Yeah.
It's really, really interesting to see. And we do have to say too, one thing that the library is doing, they are introducing a Lego month. So if you've headed over to the library and passed a little bit, as we know, the facility is closed, but one of the librarians is still doing a little bit of a read along that she's been doing on Facebook and as well as their site. And they just came out last week saying that they're going to be starting a summer online Lego. So kids can participate in this 4-week program. It's starting on August 10th, and you can go in and you can register for it, and the registration will begin on, it actually just started on June 24th, so go in. if your kids are interested in Legos. And we do also know that coming up in the next little bit, I interviewed Derek Pierce, and he's trying to open up a Lego store in Sault Ste. Marie. So we'll see what goes on there. But it's great.
What's going on? Dan, what's going on for the next 7 days with the weather, bud?
Thanks very much, Chris and Danny. And we're going to see a lot of sun coming up, but don't be fooled. You're going to see on the Weather Watcher photo, this was from the past weekend here from Danielle. She sent this in from her place there, which is up in the central part of the city. And that was when the storm rolled through on Sunday. So thank you very much for sending that in. If you want to send in your photos or videos of weather-related incidents, ontvweather@gmail.com. Include your name and location so I know where you're sending it from, and we will get it up for you. Okay, so we're going to take a look at your 7-day forecast. Just a couple quick stats. The record high was 31.6 in 1983, and 3.3 was your record low in 1946. We're not going to hit any of those. Your sunrise was at 6:13 a.m., and your sun will set at 9:15 p.m. tonight. So looking ahead, we're going to see mainly sunny with a few clouds over the next couple days. By the weekend, you're going to see those temperatures bump right back up again. We got high pressure coming in, highs of 27 and 28 on the weekend. Sunday and Monday is going to remain consistent. You're going to see mostly sunny, and then your overnight lows are between 16 to 18 degrees on those nights. So we're around seasonal for the nighttime lows, and we have a few seasonal days. So it's going to be a nice week. And a reminder, if you are watching us live on Facebook, make sure that you like the Sioux Online page, share it with your friends. We appreciate all the shares that we're getting on the show. It really helps get the word out, and you can watch the replays anytime. All right, I'm going to send it back over to Chris and Danny.
Thank you very much,
Dan.
Danielle. Dan, very much Dan. And the Danielle that sent in the photo was not our Danielle, it was a different Danielle. So just to clarify there. Yeah. She didn't send it in on the weekend and then come in and be like, oh, yeah.
It's funny because Mike, our producer, will say Dan here, and I answer, and he's like, no, other Dan. I'm like, oh, okay, just check.
Yeah, we like to make it as confusing as possible in our ears when we're on live television. And speaking of being live, our numbers are way better than America when it comes to deaths for COVID-19 and also cases.
Sorry, just the way you said it.
Yeah, that's an interesting transition. I know. It's Monday. Okay, so we had 137 new cases on Saturday. We had 195 on Friday. It popped up, but it went back down. And we had 138 as well. So the last 3 days have been 137, 138, and 195. Most of these cases, though, as I said earlier, are actually with people between the ages of 20 and 39, and they're also basically been in Windsor, Ottawa, and in the GTA area. Outside of there, there's been very few cases, and we have 2 active cases here in Sault Ste. Marie, but we haven't had a new case in a while. The hospital data for the weekend was all messed up because 30 hospitals didn't bother to send in their data. So we don't know how many people are actually in the hospital or in the ICU or on ventilators. So we'll hopefully have that information for you later today if that gets updated. But for right now, we're unsure of the hospital data because so is the Ontario government who gives us this information. So that's it for that.
Not doing their job properly.
Well,
wasn't it our friends in the States that were only they were only doing positive numbers, they weren't actually implementing negative numbers, so
hence
even
their positivity rate was so high because in certain areas the positivity rate was 100% because they didn't bother to include the negatives when they submitted the data, which made it look like at one point in the States there was a 19% positivity rate, and it was really 10.8 because a bunch of counties and cities were not bothering to put in the negative tests. It'd be like, if we did 100 tests, we would put 100 positives, and we'd say we did 100 tests. They didn't include the negative. So it just boosted the numbers even worse. Not that 10.8% is good, folks. Our highest positivity rate was 7% in Ontario, but it's way better than 19. But still, 10% is, almost 11% is out of control. So speaking of COVID-19, at 1 o'clock today, Doug Ford will be here with a hockey team minus a goalie.
Quick before you say hockey, we do know that hockey's coming back. See, some sports talk, guys. We're super excited that it is coming back. And we also know sports is back. If anyone was watching over the weekend, the Jays plays. Unfortunately, the first game was great. Second 2, not so much. But also with the Jays, we know that they actually have a home now. It's going to be in Buffalo. Alex is really excited. We're really excited. So it's going to be an interesting weekend to see the least. But sorry, Chris, continue before we finish.
So it'll be there with Rod Phillips, Steve Clark, and Carolyn Mulrooney. We'll have that for you at 1 p.m. on Special Report. They're coming to us from Queen's Park, not part of Doug Ford's summer tour. We'll see you back here at 1 o'clock, and stay tuned for news all morning.